thank God we're back on a Friday night. I think it's been a while since we've been on a Friday night.
What night is it? It's my favorite night of the week. Friday night B2B.
If you're a first-time listener, this is the show, and we're getting back to more traditions in that we do have drinks tonight.
We do. It's been a while. We both have drinks too.
Yeah, we both have drinks, and everyone probably saying, "Ty, aren't you on heavy meds?" No, I stopped the heavy meds because they're driving me freaking nuts.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier on pre-show. You don't feel like you need them. So
I'm not in
like
a lot of
okay.
Yeah, I'm not in a lot of pain, and as long as I keep this thing up in the air, which you're going to see during the show, I'll put this up in the air a few times. I'm okay. It just starts to throb a little bit, which is pretty normal, but
Can you go? Did you get one of those little scooters with your knee on it, and then do you go down to the sim and like chip with just?
Here it is.
You do have one of those.
That's how I got the bourbon in here. I got my little basket on the front. I put my glass in there. I put the bourbon in there, and I came strolling. I didn't think on pre-show. I thought you would have saw me like cart out and cart back in.
I wasn't paying attention when you were carting. I'm a single dad tonight. My wife and daughter, as you know, they're out at the theater. And so, like, single dad for me is here's a tablet. I'm recording B2B. There's pizza on the way from Domino's. So I was juggling a little bit, getting the women out of the house to go to the theater so that I could do this. And I didn't even notice that you had the cart back there. It blends in well with the grandfather clock, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Which is kind of funny that the grandfather clock hasn't been working for the last week because I've been I shouldn't say lazy, but not motivated to get up there and crank it. Because it's just such a weird thing. Like on this, I can't get any leverage with anything. You have one leg, you can't get any leverage to do anything.
I have a buddy of mine that I think I mentioned it in the show before, but I have a buddy of mine that over the summer, and he's a +3 handicap, very, 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 very good golfer. Hits the ball a freaking mile. You know, one of those golfers that you play with, and the sound of the ball comes off, and you're like, I wish my ball would sound like that. Like he's, you know what I mean? And so he was playing frisbee football at the park, and he went for the frisbee, landed on the ground. His buddy landed on top of him, broke his leg, clean break in his leg. So he hasn't been able to play golf, obviously, for a while. So this was his first time. I talked to him last night. This is his first time to actually have gone and played golf. And he is hosel shanking everything. Sorry, I was looking for the word. He hosel shanked. Like he gets like, I got up there and I was like, was your foot any problem? Do you have any issue? He was like, oh no. I had no fear. It was like, I've been swinging a club in 7 months, and I got up there, and I haven't hosel shanked since I was 17 years old. I couldn't hit the ball straight. So he's like, got some work to do to get back into it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to call GreatBanjini, aka Plastered Bastard, over here to wind up my clock.
Yeah, you are.
Banjini, get your ass over here. Wind up the clock, pal.
Well, it's our favorite day of the night. We get to record B2B on a Friday night, which is our favorite time. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so good to go.
Yeah. So let's traditionally the first segment is
what are we drinking?
So we are drinking tonight. So I have a very special treat tonight. And my special treat is I have free whiskey. Nothing better than free whiskey when someone sends you a bottle of whiskey. So Old Sarge, who's a fairly new designer, I think he has like 1 or 2 courses out. I should have checked on that. But he just reached out and he said, "Hey, I know you like bourbon. I like the show. Can I send you something?" And I was like, "Yes, please."
Yes, please.
Yes, please. So he sent me this bottle of Texas single malt whiskey, Balcones, well, this is going to be backwards, but there's the bottle.
Balcones.
Yes. Now it's
Balcones.
Really funny is like, it's Balcones.
It's actually Balcones. Yeah, Balcones
so you've heard of this.
I used to belong to the Balcones Country Club out of Austin.
Oh, so there's a country club that makes the whiskey?
No, but Balcones is a region or part of Texas. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, this is making much more sense now. Okay. Now, my question to you, mashies, how do you spell whiskey?
Not like that.
It's EY, right?
EY.
Okay, that's what I thought too when I saw that. And then even on the back of the bottle, there's a little description here. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but this is a whiskey and it has cinnamon and cloves in it, which I definitely taste. It's got a little bit of like a
holiday feel to it. A little cinnamon
totally,
clove.
it is,
holiday. Yeah,
it's a winter
holiday.
whiskey, I should say.
Yeah.
But it's funny is that it says single malt whiskey in the front, no EY, just whiskey with no EY. But on the back it says certified Texas whiskey, but it is EY on the back. So I don't know if it's a typo on the label.
Maybe it's like Mini Pearl. I'm dating myself now, and that's their kind of logo. Like they just kind of spell it differently in the front. I don't know. So is it good? Do you like it?
I do. It is definitely wintry. I might like it a little bit better smoked. I should have, unfortunately, I'm not going downstairs right now.
You're
to get
not
my
going
smoker.
downstairs to get the smoker. No, we'll not. We'll hear. You'll wear your headphones. We'll hear like.
I do think I'm going to make good use of this during the holiday break. I have one more week of work and then my company shuts down. I'm off for like 2.5 weeks with no pressure to do anything from work, which is great. One thing, but the other thing is, what the fuck am I going to do?
You got nothing better to do than to sit around and get better, right?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, on with you. What's going on? What are you drinking?
I'm leaving the state of Colorado with my small batches for this trip. So we'll go. I'm actually heading over to the birthplace of whiskey and bourbon into Kentucky, and I have a bottle, and I love this. It's called Larceny. I don't know if you can see it or not with my thing on. I
think I've seen that before. I have never tried it, but I think I've seen it at our liquor store. That could have been one that we could have split one time.
We could have split, yeah. And so we'll have to get. So they've got 3 or 4 different types. This one is actually a wheated whiskey. So instead they use wheat instead of rye in the process.
Oh, you said wheat?
Wheated.
Okay, I said weeded.
Wheat. That would be back in Colorado. That would be a Colorado bourbon.
That would be a bourbon that TechBud would like to drink.
It's a wheated, WH, wheated, as the more educated would say, wheated.
Wheat.
It's really, really good, and it's very smooth. It has great flavors and great notes to it. I will tell you, the best thing about it, it was $29 a bottle. And to find a $29 bottle that is a really good bottle of whiskey, it doesn't taste like the bottom of your shoe.
Yeah.
That's a win right there. So Larceny small batch out of Kentucky is my choice for the week this week.
Yeah. And the thing is, we did get paid a few weeks ago, and we never.
A few weeks ago, yeah.
And yeah. I think it's about the time that my foot got all messed up, so I don't think we ever went out and bought our bourbon. And
well, I have this thread going with Ketowig over on the SGT thread, SGT Discord channel server, because he was saying he's going to start looking at building again, and he's like, I'm going to start watching the video, so we'll make your bourbon fund go up. And I said, guess what? Next time we get paid, you pick the bottle.
There you go.
And I'm going to have him pick the bottle when we get paid next. So I don't know when that's going to be, but maybe February. But
no, we will get paid again like very soon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, cool. We're getting paid like every other month now.
Ketowig, when we get paid, I'm gonna ping you on Discord and have you pick a bottle of bourbon, and that we could do, since you're supporting us with all of your watching the videos for your course build. Thank you, bud.
I still live in freaking Pennsylvania though, where I'm restricted on finding stuff. But anyway, we'll figure it out. Okay. So I'm drawing a blank on where. Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Oh, I don't know if you had time to think about this.
Oh, that's a good. I don't know. You have to go first while I try to think about it. This was hard.
I'll go first, and I'll tap dance while you're thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
So the get to know Mashy and Masta question this week is, what is something that I'm asking you, and I'm also asking myself. Something that you don't like, but a lot of people do like.
I got mine. Okay. It's minor, but I got mine. Yeah.
And I came up with this. So I got out of the house for the first time, like all week tonight. We went to the movies, and I'm at the movies, and we got popcorn, and my daughter was like, "Hey, let's put butter on it." And I'm like, "No, I hate hate movie theater butter.
Interesting. Okay.
So I just like, and it's not that I don't like butter on popcorn. If I have at home, I'll put like butter on, like real butter. But the movie theater like oil stuff, I just
See, I'm all in on that. Matter of fact, so my sim is inside. When we built this house, we took a room in the basement and put a screen up, and I call it a theater. So when I say theater, don't people think that I built some? It's not over.
Yeah.
It's just a screen on the wall with a projector to watch some movies on.
Yeah.
But I went and bought like off Amazon this it's the popcorn with the oil and it's not an oil. It's a solid stuff that melts like an oil. And it's the movie type popcorn stuff. It's really, I love it.
I
really
like movie theater popcorn. I just don't like that oily
butter
butter stuff.
That oily butter stuff they put on top. Got it. Yeah.
So that's me. So what was yours? What did you think?
So mine is minor. Well, say the question. I'm going to make sure I'm the right one. So say the question again.
Something that you don't like that most people do like or enjoy. It doesn't have to be a food. It doesn't have to be a food.
My answer is people.
Well, I guess we'll come back to that for posts of the week, right?
I'm completely kidding. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to see if somebody is listening would like spit out their drink. I'm kidding. It's not people.
No, mine is women.
Yeah, exactly. Mine is it's relatively minor, but it absolutely drives me nuts. And I've got a buddy of mine who does this, and I've been begging him to please don't do this. I can't stand it when people go find golf balls that have been sitting outside for God knows how long, and they're in the mud, and they pull it out. And they're like, "Look, I found this ball." The next thing you know, they're playing it. Like, it's been. I just like I'm not a golf ball snob. I'm perfectly fine with if you find a really nice looking Pro V and you want to play, cool, okay? But like, I play with people that will find the oddest, strange. I mean, the balls aren't even round anymore. They've been sitting out in the buried in the weeds for so long, and then they're playing them. I'm like, give yourself a chance.
So I do have to say, when I first started playing golf, like I'm in my third year now, but when I first started, I lost a lot of balls. So I would I'd be that guy, because at that point in my game, it really didn't matter. Now I'm a little bit more of I'm not going to play with those like muddied over balls. Funny story related to that was I was out on the course one day, found one of those balls out in the woods. Okay. Picked it up, put it in my pocket. Okay, I'm going to use this sucker. So, and the next hole I lose another ball. So I get that one out, and I put it, and I'm playing with it. Well, I have a putter. It's called the Ping Fetch, and it's got, I don't know if you've seen it. It's got like a perfect hole in the bottom of it. You can pick up golf balls. You can pick them up out of the hole. So I'm playing with this ball. I hole out. I go to pick up the ball, and it goes through the hole in the putter. This ball was so old, it shrunk.
It shrunk in there. Oh my goodness. Please please tell me you didn't go play that ball after that.
Oh no, I was like, okay. And that, I think, honestly, was like when I finally decided, I think I'm done playing like any old balls that I find.
I like watching Rick Shields videos. He annoys the crap out of me, but I do think he comes up with some pretty clever videos to watch and stuff. But he did a video, if you haven't seen it, it's really, really good. He has 3 golf balls, like one from like the 1780s. I think it's like a cloth ball. And then he's got one like from the 1800s and one from like the 1970s. And he goes out and plays a couple holes with these 3 balls with modern clubs to see how they do.
Would he steal them from a museum?
Somebody sent them. I don't know exactly where he got them from, but like, and he like the one from like the 1790s, 18 whatever hundreds. It's a like a leather or whatever material. Like he hit the driver. I think that
did he use like a modern driver with it, or like an old driver?
Yeah. No, a regular modern driver. Okay. And I think the ball went like 130 yards. And when he got to the ball, the side of the ball had the grooves of the driver compressed into the side of the ball. So it's pretty fun to look at some of those old balls and how they used to play them. So it's a pretty fun video if you haven't seen it.
It's really interesting to like look at the history of golf and how they figured out divots. If you saw, like they used to, when they made balls, you'd start with like back in the day, a brand new ball. And of course they were smooth, right? And And the best balls that people found were ones that had a few scratches in them, right? So you played with a ball. They played with a ball, and then they figured, wow, these balls, after you play with them a little bit and they get scratched up, they go further. So that's how they started making scratches in those. The really old golf balls had like the lines kind of etched in around them.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, and I think there's one video he did with a ball that has no dimples, completely smooth ball, and then a ball that has these illegal dimples that are supposed to give you extra ball flight and stuff. Anyway, it's I love that. I know we've completely varied off of what annoys me, people, but
you know, what annoys me, old golf balls.
Old golf balls. But I love this. I love the history. I love seeing the progression of where golf equipment has come from. Like, I can only imagine what it's going to be too. And I will tell you, when you're up for it, when you're able to like stand upright for, more than a little bit when your leg hurts, we need to go do some Golf Plus with our Oculus, with our MetaQuest headsets.
Oh, I should just do that anyway, because I should be able to stand like on my little thing here for.
You could probably stand your thing there, as long as you don't lose your. But we should try to go do that and report back our results of. I played a few holes in that thing.
You can and you can record video on those too.
You can, absolutely,
and it would record us talking too. So maybe I'll try to figure that out.
We should, and then what I because I'm a dumbass. I only work in technology, but I'm a dumbass. Is couldn't figure out why the hell my ball was going the wrong way. I wasn't turning around and actually facing to where the actual because it's a fully three-dimensional immersive experience. You don't only hit one direction.
Yes.
So based on where your ball is, you got to turn around and go. And I'm hitting in the same location. I'm like, damn, the green's over there. My ball keeps going over there.
There's no screen. Where do I hit the ball?
Exactly. So we need to go do that. We should do that over the holiday break here. Do a little bit, have some fun with that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we have simulator golf to talk about.
Yeah, we do. It is what the show is about. So here we go. All right. New courses. So we had 7 this week.
We did.
So things slowed down a little bit.
It would be okay if they slowed down next week too.
Yes. Yeah, we got to talk about when we're going to record again, because we have scheduling challenges again. Although, it's your fault now. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, like we talked about last show, my in-laws are in town for the whole time, so I can record. If you would like to, I can record Monday through. And I can record all 8-10 hours a day. It doesn't matter. Anything to keep me away from hanging out with my in-laws nonstop. That'd be great.
They don't listen to the show, do they?
No. Oh my God, no. They wouldn't know how to listen to the show.
Okay. So we have. I thought we had a couple by Banjini. Oh, I sorted these by oldest, not by a designer. Okay. So we got Timberbanks Golf Club. In Baldwinsville, up in New York State, USA.
Yep. And Baldwinsville, that's where the Alec lives.
Yes, Baldwinsville. Thunder Bay Country Club by our friend Amache in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. And you can tell that people are finally using the latest greenkeeper, because we're getting some consistency with our locations here, right?
Love it. You're right. I just noticed that we have name, comma, state, comma,
country,
Providence, or country, and I love it. Yeah.
And those that aren't designers, we're also adding lat long coordinates, so I think it'll automatically populate the map now. And I think that's streamlining things for Cook and SGT. So lots of good stuff happening. We got Boise Ranch Golf Club by Mr. P. Toad. I think that is his first course, I do believe.
I would like to know what P-Toad stands for. I'm just curious. I don't know what Potato.
Paul PTO, paid time off as directed.
PTO, paid time off as directed.
That's what I have on my head right now, because I am, I've had a lot of paid time off as directed by my doctor.
He actually works in HR benefits.
Yes.
That's the number one request that he gets daily, is about paid time off as directed by his boss.
Um, Riverbed Golf and Country Club, by another one by Adam Ace. Yep. And this is interesting about that one. That's also my favorite strip club out there at Beaver Lodge.
River. And by the way, I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. By the way,
when I go there, I don't touch that with a 10-foot pole either. I'm just telling you.
That's smart. You're smart. Yeah, that's how you stay healthy, relatively so.
Yeah. Or I just take antibiotics. But anyway, go ahead.
Or do you take them before or after or both?
During and after. Yeah.
During and after. I have the liquid antibiotics in my cocktails.
Yes.
Because they mix well with the liquid.
I squirt it right into my balconies.
Your balconies. Riverbend, by the way, is not from Chasing Scratch because they don't live in Ontario, Canada, let alone Beaver Lodge.
Yes, that is right. So Tech still has the Chasing Scratch Riverbend in his
I'd love
Patreon.
To see Tech release that one.
Yeah, you've been hanging on to that one for a while, buddy. Come on.
His response is going to be the same as Golf Boy schooling me by saying, "Hey, you have full access to it. Just join my Patreon," which I need to do anyway. So, all right, we got three more.
Then we got Trump National, Colts Neck, New Jersey.
I think this might be an older course by Run that he just released SGT. I think he's talked about this one in the past.
Yeah, I think he's had that one in his Patreon for a long time.
Might have. Yeah.
I remember seeing screenshots of that a while ago.
Yep.
Port Ludlow. In Ludlow, Washington. Now, I'm looking at that. He doesn't have. I want to make sure. Well, we'll talk about this course, but that's Brian, by the way. Do you remember going
Brian.
through this? Yes.
Yes. And now once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's Brian.
I still have a hard time seeing it, but you know.
You're old. I'm older than you, and I see it.
And StoneGate by TheGreatBanjini in Twin Lake, Michigan. So
listen. We have had I know he's going to TrackMan. We've had a nonstop dump of Banjini courses.
Well, because he is doing the dump. He's got to get them done before he heads off into the sunset.
Yeah. I wonder how many more Banjini. How many more do you have in the hopper?
Well, I thought I saw something in Discord the other day where he was handing a couple off. I think to CE Sim Golf.
Oh, send one my way. I want to work on one. I got nothing to do.
Yeah. You want to work on a random course that you don't have no passion for?
No, I only work on courses I actually know and play.
Yeah. I don't know if people I handed off the old course to Run Putt and CE Sim Golf.
You did?
Yeah. CE Sim Golf reached out to me, said, "Hey, I think you're finishing up Kapalua. Are you going to start the old course?" And I was like, "That's the plan." And he said, "Would you have, he was really nice. Any interest in handing that over? I'd really like to. Run and I are looking for another, partner course to do." And I said, "Have at it," because I really did not have any passion for that. It was more like everyone's asking for it. Someone needs to do it. I'll get it done. It's a boring course.
Well, you're like me. We don't have Patreons. We don't do this for pay. I mean, you do the random charity, obviously, ones for your daughter.
Yeah.
And so we have to do courses that we know and love or have some sort of connection to. You know.
And then if I'm working on the old course, how long it takes me to do a course. All I heard was, "When's it going to be done?" So I'm going to be doing another charity thing here in January for another course, and then I have a pretty awesome passion course. I'm really excited. It'll take me a while, but I'm really excited.
What's next for you after Kapalua?
Well, I'm going to finish Hershey Country Club.
Okay, got it.
Kapalua, I'm probably going to release maybe in the next week.
It's good. I've given you some feedback. I think I played it 7 times in the last week and a half.
Okay. Wow.
It's good. It's really, and I will tell you, for those of you, we've been lucky enough to play Kapalua in real life.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have.
You've been a huge help on feedback there. Thank you.
Thank you. And my daughter and I played it in the sim together, and she and I played it when we were in Maui over spring break this past year and played it together. And it was almost like reliving. Like, she was like, "Oh my God, I remember." And she was like, "Oh, the clubhouse looks exactly like." She's, "I remember that house on the hill." And, a couple of holes. She was like, "This looks I remember exactly where my tee shot went on this hole." And she hit it in the same place, actually. So it was really fun to play that course again with I don't know when I'm going to get back to Maui. So it was great to play that again with my daughter when we played it together the first time. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it's essentially ready. But people review it and they find like little tiny things. I'm very, very
Yep.
detail oriented. Like if a blend is slightly off or something, I think
Justin
add a
found a
mace.
couple of small things.
Yes, I had to go back in Blender and fix those. I think a couple people pointed that the island was a little too light, so I adjusted that. But it's been playing fine. We played actually in the Sim Golf League this week. I didn't play, but had the guys over still. I sat in the couch while they played, and it played perfectly fine. It's ready to go.
Good.
So it's just a matter of me being comfortable.
January
I don't like making
tournament...
changes after I submit. I'm like, done. Move on to the next thing.
And January, well, and the changes, I don't either, but then somebody always finds like, hey, I had forgotten, like on one of the Breckenridge courses, I apparently had forgotten a hazard. So I updated Greenkeeper and submitted it back in.
Yeah.
And I think that the early January is when the tour plays on that course. So you'll get it out in plenty of time for the SGT to use it.
Yep. Yeah, it's ready to go. But yeah, cool. So I'm finishing Hershey Country Club, that's actually pretty close to being done. So you might actually see Kapalua, and then a month later, you actually 3, because Hershey is 36 holes.
Right.
So you might see 3 from me in 1 month. How weird is that?
I do want to do that's like, man, like I think in the year we've been doing the show, almost a year. We started in January of last year, I think. So we're almost a year in doing the show. Have you had a course out yet?
No, because I spent a lot of time with the V4.
Yeah.
I started Kapalua
videos.
Yeah, the Kapalua was done in a lot of the V4 videos. Hershey Country Club consists of a lot of the V4 videos.
So we may get 2 from you in a pretty quick, or 3 from you in a pretty quick manner here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, I want to take a quick moment of personal privilege. Since it's our show, we get to do this kind of stuff right before we go into our MPOWs of the week. And I want to call out a huge thank you to 2 folks, okay? First one is to, since he's mentioned a few times, Chris, CE Sim Golf. So I'm working on a course right now that has some pretty severe drop-offs around tee boxes and mainly around tee boxes where they're up in the mountains and there are stone retaining walls up to and stuff that I didn't know really how to do in Blender at all. And I was trying to use Unity terrain carving to make it work, and it just doesn't give you that level of detail that you need. Chris, on a Saturday, I think it was, spent about an hour. We got a Discord chat going like this, and he walked me through some Blender techniques and some tricks and tips and things like that he has to put out with a video. The video is fantastic, and it has changed the way I am now doing things in Blender. I am using Blender to level tee boxes. I am using Blender to smooth and move terrain around. Now, it's not the end all be all, because again, if you got to go back to Inkscape and it kind of reset stuff, but it gives me a whole new level of skills and confidence in a tool that I only used kind of as an in-between between submitting my Inkscape and pulling them into Unity. I'm very comfortable in Unity. I feel really good in Unity. So I want to give a huge shout out to CE Sim Golf for that. And then I spent about 45 minutes on the phone with the man himself, with DPR.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah. And so I reached out to DPR because what I wanted to do was use the work I had done with CE Sim Golf, but I wanted to layer in my satellite imagery, because I wanted to smooth where houses were going to go in Blender, because I could do it in a much smoother, better way and do multiple houses at once as opposed to Unity terrain, right? And DPR pinged me on Discord. We got into a video chat. We spent 45 minutes in the chat, and he showed me how to do it. And I showed him a few things that Chris had showed me, and he was like, oh, we have a video on that. And it was like having those guys taking that much time out of their day to spend with me was to me amazing about the whole OPCD community. So I want to just huge shout outs to both of those guys, and you'll see the results of that in the next course that I release. So thank you both very much for everything.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all about.
Yep. Man, getting to pick DPR's brain for 45 minutes is pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's a sharp guy. Extremely
He is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go forward to Steve.
Empals.
Explosions, please. Empals. All right. So the first Empal of the week is StoneGate by Banjini.
Way to go, Banjini. I think that's like week 4 in a row you've got an empal.
Yeah, we're only doing it to like maybe persuade you to stay and tell Trackman to go F off. No, we're happy for you. I just don't know who's going to want my clock anymore. So StoneGate, Twin Lake, Michigan. I don't know. I don't really know anything about the course other than his rendition looks pretty darn good.
I need to check real quick. I'm going to do it while we're looking. Where in Michigan is it? I can't remember.
Twin Lake, Michigan.
Twin Lake. I'm trying to think if that's northern Michigan.
It's only 331 feet, so it's not terribly high. Of course, I think most of Michigan's pretty low.
It's you know what? I bet it's not far from Arcadia Bluffs. It's kind of on the edge, center Michigan on the lake, on the edge there. So I'm guessing it's probably not too far from Arcadia Bluffs as a guess for mine. I've done we've done several guys golf trips in this central to northern Michigan, including Arcadia. And so it's a if you've never played golf in central or northern Michigan, go do it. It is some of the best.
I see a ton of courses and like a lot of people just asking for builds in Michigan, and it's not something. The only problem I think is I would love to go there for like our golf trip, but like the season's got to be short, right?
Oh, I know. We went. I think you can go anytime from May through September.
Okay.
You got the whole summer to go out there. A good 5 months to go out there, and it is some of the most spectacular golf I've played in a long. We've been there 3 times in like 7 years. And we have not played Stone Lake. I need to put this on the list for next time we go up there. But there's great, beautiful golf up there. So now this course a little shorter, 6,500 from the tees, from the back. So the tips guys are gonna. I mean, it's narrow, so you've got a lot of trees and a lot of trouble. So the tight tips guys, the straight tips guys will make mincemeat of this course. But it's a great course.
Yeah. So custom tee markers look really good. Of course, he's going to put the wood texture on there to make it look like they're painted and completely customized and fabricated in real life. Real natural looking colors, which he is known for in his courses. Realistic looking courses. Trees, look really good. Pretty dense, but performance was great on the course. He didn't stray much from the typical default textures and materials. Like this looks like the typical grass colors and everything, but what he did do a great job on was mixing things up with the mode lines. I'm not 100% sure if he did that via sat shader or he did it via vertex painting. With what he has here, you can actually do it. I'm pretty sure either way. He could possibly do that in Blender or he could do it sat shader. Actually, I'm guessing. No, I don't know. I think that's maybe sat shader. I have to guess. Banjini, if you're listening, let us know whether you did sat shader or vertex painting for your mode lines on here, though. Wet looking bunkers, and pretty cool water. Now, I did think the water was blue, but the one thing I like about blue water is that with the overhead mini map, it's really easy to see and pick up.
I was going to say the same thing. I thought the water looked a little bit blue on the course itself, but I love the way it looked at the mini map.
Yeah. So that's and actually looking at this picture, looks like his grasses are floating a little bit, don't they?
It does. Right there on those left side there, it does. Yep.
Yeah, the ones closer to the water. So I'm wondering if he dug his terrain and didn't
or he did it later.
Didn't lower his terrain under the meshes or something. I don't know.
Or he planted the veggie, then he went back and dug out the water a little more.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until now, so it's really not that big of a deal if we didn't notice it until now. The one thing I was surprised here, though, and I always say this all the time, I think Sat Shader and Cart Pass looks amazing, and he didn't do that here. So the Cart Pass to me looked a little bit flat.
Yeah, fair,
but it's fine. I mean, they're lighter colored, whatever. So Port Ludlow, congratulations to Brian.
This is number 2 Is this the second course for Brian?
Yes, I feel like
And the second
Brian
MPAL.
is like I don't like to compare people, but I feel like Brian is kind of like Jay Pruitt, kind of like a person who is new, but has like a good color sense to me. And just when someone builds like his first course was an MPAL last week, and that one was using we didn't know it on the show. He was using Unity planning on that course, right? And this week he did find a copy of VS Pro. I'm not going to say where he found that copy, but I think it was probably off a Russian server. Just saying. But this course really cool. Now I will say before we get in this, I had performance problems on this course. I know Mash you didn't, but you're running your Watson computer at home. I ran this on my designer PC, which is a 2060, which is really good for testing performance because it's like right on the edge of like being of the recommended specs for a 1080p. So if I have any like blips on there, it really shows up. So I ran it and I was really surprised how poorly it performed. And I reached out to you and you said, no, I didn't see anything. And I actually reached out to John because I was like, man, this course is amazing. I was going to make sure so John Meyer ran and he's like, yeah, he's having some issues too. And he ran in and did a full like spec over. He found some issues in Greenkeeper. We both reached out to Brian. I think we're going to work through them. I think we're going to find the issues. He's a pretty sharp guy. He actually has some ideas on things to look at. But
so here's what I'll just add. Okay, if you're watching the show and you have a higher end video card, you'll have zero issue with this course. I had no issue in the sim with my 3080.
Yeah,
and I had no issue in my designer machine with it's a 4070 Ti. So
yeah,
3080 no problem. I don't know about the.
I would say for newer designers, if you're on the fence about what PC to get, don't get anything too high end for a designer PC. If you're going to get a laptop, look at something like a 3060 or 2060 like I have, a 3080 laptop, because what will happen is like Mashy's running this thing on a high end laptop and he's getting, when he runs his benchmark through the Greenkeeper tools, it's capped at 60 frames per second because that's what his monitor refresh rate. And that card is just going to hammer and it's going to hit 60 frames per second, even though that card really should be able to handle like 120, really. Whereas my 2060, I should only be getting a good course. I should be getting 50 or 55 frames per second. It's not capped by the refresh rate of it is capped by my refresh rate of my monitor, but because it's a lower end card, I'm going to see the variability wherever I go in the course. The card kind of starts to struggle a little bit, so I can pick up on stuff. So my recommendation would be, guys, if you're looking for a laptop for design courses, lots of RAM, high-end processor to do all like the Blender stuff, all the Blender processing, all the LiDAR stuff, but mid-range GPU, honestly. So
see, I'm the opposite. I'm like at the highest end GPU you can find and build the biggest, baddest ass course you can find, and if they can't run it, they can't run it. It's not your fault. You built it.
You got to do what's right for GSPro. Now, looking at this, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, it looks like a very rich course. Okay,
it's stunning. I think his colors are really, really well done.
Yeah, so like this doesn't look like a second course to me.
No.
Usually, people who are on their first or second course, they don't see like that these dark colors work. It doesn't look right. They're used to oversaturated pictures. His grasses are really done really well. That like the
blending
colors
I was looking specifically the blending of the bottoms, the bases of the grasses with the floor is really, really well done. Like the 3DG color blends almost perfectly into the longer grass color. And I also really like that you can see some green grass, some dry grass, some drier grass. He's got 3 or 4 different shades of green and yellows and browns in those grasses, and they all work really well.
Yeah. And like Mashy understands this, is you don't have to have all the grasses match the floor. Like obviously flowers. What's great about flowers is they contrast. And you can have things like fescue, which is really light, be on a dark floor, but there has to be a base underneath there that does match the floor to give it that effect. Otherwise, things are going to look real splotchy.
Yep.
So I don't know if he did these himself or he bought them, but it was a really cool touch, and we're going to see how it fits the theme.
It does. And listen, by the way, I was so intrigued by this course, I went out to the website. I don't think this course is a pirate course in real life.
Arr.
Arr. We should have started with arr. Are you Pirate Steve from Dodgeball? Steve the Pirate from Dodgeball.
Arr, I just hit my foot on the table. Ouch.
So bad. My R's are so bad. Like, poor guy's walking on the strip and the guy throws a slushie at him.
I just joined the Facebook group, which is dad jokes, and there's every other one's a pirate joke. What's the favorite pirate's favorite fast food restaurant? Arby's.
Arby's. I could tell that. But I can't go back to the course now.
Yeah.
But I just don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. I did look. There's not a lot of information on the web. You can find some pictures. I did find some nice little pictures of the course. Nowhere did I find a giant galleon.
Well, we're going to see that here in a second. The thing is, people are eating this up because I've seen a really positive impact. Like Facebook, people have commented that this is a cool course. Discord, the people have come up. Even the pirate flag. It's great, dude.
I played it and I couldn't stop.
I think Brian has. I think Brian has like really just. I think he has like our sense of humor here, so I like it.
I think so because I would putt. I putted. I would putt and I go arr. Whatever name.
I just want to pick up that flag. It's like if I was golfing this in real life and they had flags like that, I'd be like picking it up and like waving it every time I took it out and like yelling at the people behind us. And
maybe that's why I was inspired to buy the Larceny bourbon because I played the pirate course earlier today.
You see what happens to this show when we actually drink? It goes off the rails.
It does go off the rails when we both drink. I'm glad you're not taking the big meds. I'm pouring glass 3, by the way, so there we go. It is what it is.
I decided to have 1.5. I did pour another half here, but I got to take it easy.
Attaboy. I like these assets. I put these out because I thought they were really unique. I have not seen a lot of use of stumps. I've seen some, but I've not seen a lot of use of like cut down stumps and trees where the leaves or the branches have been cut off and they're.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Stumps, buddy.
Hey, Stumpy. Hey, Stumpy. All right. The new episode for B2B next week is how does Master Blaster shower in that thing?
Okay. It's interesting. A little. Never mind. Okay.
He likes baths now. You can keep it elevated during your bath.
Yeah. My bubble bath. I have candles and all the good stuff in there. Yeah.
I hope you're better by the time you come out here in June because I have a hot tub, so you can sit in the hot tub and just raise your foot up on the edge of it.
Trust me, I'm coming out in June no matter what. Whether
Bull Pride is coming out too, he said. And
I have confidence I will be good enough to golf in June. I'm hoping I'm going to be walking enough to golf. Maybe I'll have to ride a cart everywhere. I won't be able to walk the course.
We're karting it with none of the courses we're playing are walking. You cannot. You don't want to walk these. Some Bear Dance will not let you walk. It is a riding only course.
Okay. Well, like around here, I walk as much as I can.
I do too, mostly. But the courses we're playing are not walking. Just bring a whole bunch of balls.
My hope is that I'll be able to actually real golf this spring, but I'll be riding in a cart at least initially.
Now we need to convince Run to come out because he's just over in Kansas. So we need to convince Run to drive out and spend a few days with us.
He's just another state away. He'll become right
It's
over.
one state. I mean, come on. It's 3 gas stations or 2 EV charges. I don't care what you're driving. Get over here, Run.
Him and his nasty toe.
Him and his.
If everyone's not on like the designer Discord, there was it felt like a competition today. People posting the most disgusting feet pictures and gifs that they possibly. I gagged a little, honestly. Like, were you the one that put the thing about the person cutting off a chunk of their heel? What the hell is that?
Off his foot.
God, no!
It was so bad. Oh my! I saw that and I threw up a little in my mouth, and so I had to post it.
People like grating cheese off their foot, and then Run posted a real picture of his like toenail was like amputated or
I didn't
something.
read by what he did to it, but like I think he lost 3/4 of his foot as a result of that toe. I don't know what it was.
It was so bad. And then here I am with a hurt foot, which makes it even worse, you know.
Exactly.
Just imagining it, I can't see my foot because it's all bandaged up. I'm like, imagine just turning gangrene in there right now.
Brian wants to know what the hell any of this has to do with his
Poor Brian. He probably just wants us to get on with reviewing his course, and here we are just talking about
would y'all
feet.
shut the hell up and go back to my course?
I hope no one's watching this show for the first time. Jeez Louise.
No,
Sorry.
you guys have watched us long enough to know that we digress.
Yeah. All right.
That's what it is.
Back to Stump and Forced Furs.
Okay, Stumpy, move the slides.
All right. There's the ship. There it is.
Where the hell did the fucking galleon come from in the middle of... Where is this course? I forgot. Washington?
I belong on the ship, though, with my peg leg.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Wait, you need a patch and a peg leg and a parrot.
I want to know, did he get this? Like, is this a Unity asset he bought? Because I think this is the same boat that is in. Was it Jay Pruitt that did the Mulligans?
That did the Mulligans, yeah, which is the hardest course on GSPro.
Yes. Either way, though, it's pretty cool. I think I love the creativity here.
This is an epic.
It's memorable
because this is an epic win in my book because there's cannons. There are actual cannons inside there. You can see them sticking out of there. So I'm all over this. I love it. It would be better if there were like some pirates climbing up the rigging on the outside of the boat. It's the only negative I could find.
Mashy, I haven't seen cannons like that since my last trip to Beaver Lodge.
I don't know where to go with that because my response was completely inappropriate. Might have involved my... Never mind. No, I'm not going to say it.
All right. Okay. And there's another shot of it.
That was so cool. I literally was coming up 9 and I was like, I got to take a picture of that. Like, the trees are already tall enough as it is. That the sails are like dwarfing the trees. It was hysterical. What I should have done is literally try to hit it up into the boat to see whether or not like there are colliders on it or not, but I didn't.
Or if he has any trigger scripts, like you hit the boat and it goes "Arr!"
The cannons go off. It was cool. It was really. There's no clubhouse. There are no parked cars, no sports cars in the parking lot. I didn't even find a parking lot when I flew. I went up and looked all around this whole satellite, the whole inner, trying to find out that I don't. There's a galleon. That is a clubhouse.
Random but cool.
Well done.
Yep. All right. We get to the feature request. Yep.
Yeah.
So feature request of the week, and you go.
Well, hold on. Time out.
Okay.
Yeah, time out. Hold on.
All right. Why?
We need to acknowledge T-Tree and ATP for like taking feature requests from us and putting them in the game.
Yeah.
So thank you, because they did. I'm assuming this wasn't already on their roadmap. Maybe it was, but they took the realignment, like realigning your stuff by hitting A to realign. Yeah. I unfortunately broke the flyover mode, but they did take the feature request. So thank you guys for looking and listening. There's been a number of feature requests that we've put in. Everything from changing the color of the ROV.
We should have started a list.
We should start a list of stuff that we've put up and stuff that have made it in the game, because there's been a bunch of stuff. So
I think the one that we have this week, although technically we didn't come up with this one, Pac-Man did. I think this one is a good one. Honestly,
I do too. I like this
top
one a lot.
Top 5 that I'm top 5 serious ones. I think this is a winner right here if they can do this.
I do too. And this came from The original idea came from Pac-Man, to be 100% transparent with everybody. He sent us a DM and said, "Here's if you're taking feature requests, which we do. So if you have one, send it our way." But I took it and then augmented it a little bit. Okay. So our feature request of the week is. Steve.
Oh, it just moved it. That's it. Oh, there it is. There we go.
Cool. We want to redesign, since it takes a ton of time to initialize because of all of the encryption on the courses now. We want to utilize that screen of blackness that just says GSPro. And I didn't do it. We should say GSPro the logo should be right down there between the pro tip. Put the scorecard right up there, so while we're waiting for the course to load, the people can look at the
or the splash screen, right?
Or the splash screen or something, And I would love to see an add-in to Greenkeeper where a designer can write up a bio about themselves, include a link to their Patreon, and have it displayed while their course is loading. So they can, people loading courses can learn about who made that course and maybe even other courses that that designer has. So
I think it's very ironic that this screenshot that you captured has the want to build a course, join the community at zeros and ones OPCD down at the bottom.
Does,
That's funny.
I think I agree. I didn't intentionally do that. It was
because I was just about to say, if you allow people to put their bios in here, not only does that help the Patreon guys because they can put their Patreon info in there, but I think it's going to encourage people to build courses. Oh my God, I could put my name on there and a little information about me.
I think. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I love building courses and I do it as a passion. I don't do it as a, in that kind of stuff. But I also feel like sometimes the course gets lost. Like I do what I can on Facebook groups to say, hey, this course is out. All the people do as well. And then a lot of times like after about a month or so, really people forget who made the course. And it may be a great course, but like, wow, this course is great. And then the designer kind of falls behind or off to the side of it. And then maybe that's okay, maybe it's not. I just think this will bring the designer and the course information back to the forefront. So somebody could say, wow, I really like this course. And I remember it was built by, Master Blaster. So I want to go look at other courses.
I don't think I certainly haven't built enough courses, I think, for people to like really recognize my name. But what I'm thinking is someone like Pac-Man, Rud Pun Run, Tech Bud, Golf Boy, the people have a lot of courses. People are going to see that name over and over again. And they're going to be like, wow, that guy really makes a lot of good courses. Let me join their Patreon, right?
Yeah. And for me, it's just a little bit of recognition. Wow, I like Mashy's course. This is great. I'd love to see more courses he's made, Yeah. So this is our request. It's Pac-Man's ask, but then we've augmented a little bit to make it a little bit broader.
I also think that they could sell advertising here, like a little bit of Taco Bell and a little bit of Arby's.
Just you ringing the bell? Oh, is Steve going to put the bell in here? Right? Ding. I love that. I want to see a Taco Bell ding every time this loads.
Right before your course loads up. Ding,
the Taco Bell logo.
We have the meat.
So we'll see if they can do this or not. It would be really cool if they could.
I listen. Again, I'm a sales guy. I'm not a software designer.
Yes.
But the scorecard is already in everybody's download folder.
So is the splash screen.
Already done. Right?
So it's the splash screen.
So is the splash screen.
Yeah.
And we are already gathering course information data in Greenkeeper. Maybe there's a way of adding a designer bio in Greenkeeper that attaches to that course as well. And then we as designers may have to copy and paste into it each time for each course, the same thing. But or maybe there's a way of pulling from a central repository.
I'd probably
online.
just do updates on my life because, I release a course every 6 months. Every 6 months people get an update on what I'm doing.
I want your bio info to be more like your holiday card. Like on the back is, we gotta
picture my dog with a Santa hat on it.
I'm going to completely digress here because I can.
Here we go.
Because
we haven't at all on the show right at this point.
We got a holiday card from somebody. My wife started reading it to me. She got to the end, and I was like, it's pretty sad they spent that much time writing that much stuff that I don't give a shit about. I just looked at the picture. You look healthy. All good. Move on. I don't need to hear about your life over the last year.
Oh, yeah. I know some people do. I used to get one from a woman who it was like 2 pages long, single spaced.
Yes.
Oh my God.
We got a holiday card. In the card, they included a 2-page printed Word document on their year. I don't like you that much to know that much about you. I like that you're healthy and happy and all's good. Move on. I'm good with that. So it goes back to our first thing about people.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so that's our feature request for the week. Oh, and out of the favorite segment.
Yeah, fair. I always forget. Like I keep on maying to like when I put my post of the week in here to put them in strategic areas where we can keep our video up because people have asked.
Yeah, I forget to do that too. Yeah.
Okay. So the first one, I'm going from memory here because
Yours are first.
Yeah, mine are first. And my first one up here is so obviously we have a YouTube channel, right? We're YouTube creators, which means we get paid on views and everything. So I go in there and I'm an analytics guy. I like to look at like see what videos are doing best and are we improving, getting worse. And so I went in there and
are we getting worse?
No, we're not getting worse. I like to see like the biggest trend that I see is like I can definitely see how like the summer gets slow and then it picks up.
Sure.
We are like heading into like prime season right now, right?
Perfect. Love it.
But what I do like to see is how are people finding us, right? Now, most of it is direct, which means that they're going through like the Facebook stuff that we share or Discord links.
Discord, we share a direct link
vast
into
majority,
the video.
or the people that have subscribed. But it does give you information on search. This is the bourbon talking.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Search terms. Okay.
Search terms
that people put in, and then YouTube is returning our videos to those search terms. Okay.
Okay.
So, GSPro, OPCD, and Bob Does Sports?
Who the hell is Bob Does Sports?
I don't know.
Oh, now, I got to search for that right now.
Now, you can tell that we don't get a lot of... We're not being returned on... Because people aren't going out and looking for us, right? I mean, if they're doing a search... If they do a search for GSPro, they return stuff. If they do a search for but people aren't really searching for that. But Bob Does Sports, and they are returning us.
So first off, do you think I need to open the in private browser before I search Bob Does Sports?
Maybe it's maybe it's an Urban Dictionary thing.
Maybe, and like again, for you guys, we don't look at each other's posts, okay? So I don't. I've not seen this before. This is the first time I'm seeing this. I'm actually shocked that OPCD and GSPro have the same percentage, even though it's less than 1%. Like I would think GSPro would be the majority of the way people find us, not searching for OPCD.
But this is things that return us. So I think it. Yes, I do agree. I'm surprised that a lot of people would even know what OPCD is. Honestly, yeah. But I just thought it was funny.
Searched for Bob Does. I just searched online. I searched.
Search YouTube, not Google. Search YouTube for Bob Does Sports and see what it comes back with. I haven't done it. I should have.
Okay, no, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it right now, real time. And I'm searching for Bob Does Sports.
I hope sports is not like an animal or a woman.
So I don't get anything B2B related coming up.
Okay.
I got tons of Bob Does Sports videos.
Okay. Well, a lot of that,
Sports.
And a lot that can also be based on your search history too. So so whatever. It just thought it was funny. All right, we'll move on to the next thing.
Hysterical. I think it's hysterical and fascinating both, which is a hard thing to do in our post of the week.
Yes. Yes. All right. So then the next one here. Now let's get into like the more traditional post of the week, which is this was a great. Did you see this?
No.
So this guy's buddy made a skateboard so they can move their R10 back and forth for righty lefty. They must have a tight space. But did you see the bottom of that?
Is that he put Titliest on the bottom of it?
Yeah, it's spelt wrong.
It's spelt wrong.
It's Titliest. It's Titliest.
Titliest.
Yes.
Although, to be fair, again, because I'm a little odd in the way I actually have huge. I can't believe they put turf on the top of it. Like, come on, it's so epic. They put turf on the top of the skateboard. That's so good.
And it's like the no regrets tattoo, right?
It's like no regrets.
So the comments on this one were pretty funny. I even commented. I said, "No, Titliest isn't the ball. It describes busty women."
It is the description of the day.
Yes, Titliest. That was the alternate name. That's how they describe the Beaver Lodge. Titliest.
Exactly. You go to the Beaver Lodge and you ask for the Titliest.
Yes. In the rainbow room.
In the rainbow room, exactly.
This is a kind of thing. If I die, don't let my wife sell my GC Hawk for what I told her I paid for it.
Oh, so that, and I'm gonna start expanding my post of the week. By the way, is my wife sends me a non-stop flurry of Instagram posts and reels of golf. Okay, and there was another one very similar to this, which is when I die, please don't ask my wife to sell my golf simulator for what I paid for it.
Yes. Exactly.
So it's very similar. Yeah, it's just so okay, I'm gonna digress again, but it's related. My wife and I and a friend, she likes to point out, I don't know why, my wife loves to point out that we do this channel. I don't know if she tries to like humiliate me by saying, look, my husband has a YouTube channel, and everybody's like, oh, that's actually pretty awesome, what's it about? And I say sim golf, and then they're like in rapture, they're like, they love it, and she's like, fuck.
Yeah, and I same thing with me, and I tell them how many subscribers we have, and they're like, "Oh, wow, that's pretty good."
Like, "Oh, you actually are like legit, right?"
Yeah.
And so somebody was asking me about my sim, and she was standing right next to me, and she said, and he was like, "Well, how much did that cost you?"
Yeah. And you're like,
And
"Start on this."
No. I wasn't thinking. I threw out a number, which was high.
Yeah.
Okay. And her reaction was, I got the, excuse me? Yeah. And I was like, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. It's a fraction. I'm just seeing if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
So it's completely, this post is completely true.
Yes.
100% true.
This was an interesting, now, this was fun.
This.
This was funny because, like, first of all, if you're going to try sell something, couple things here. Don't post anonymously because now the people can't DM you. It looks like you're scamming people. And if you are going to post something for sale, maybe at least clean up the room and make it look better, right?
Yeah, agreed. And if I were doing this, I would have added like my children in there. I would have had a few extra things I wanted to get rid of, like had some fun with it. Yeah. Like the dude is selling like the AstroTurf, the ping pong cable, the chairs.
Yes. And so then the comment, which would just crack me up, was someone's wife is pissed.
Exactly right. That comment is so right. Somebody got big trouble, and the only way out was to sell it all. And listen, I'm going to say this, and I know it's completely wrong, but all of that for $7,500, just keep the shit, okay?
Yeah, right?
It's not worth it.
I think he priced it so high that it won't sell, and he said, "Hey, honey, I tried to sell it, but I have that stuff way under." You know what I think happened? I think wintertime is coming, right? I don't think she had any idea what he was doing out there in the garage. And I think she went to open the garage and park it in for the winter and went, "What the?"
That is hysterical. I can see her opening the garage door back there in the second pick. She opened the garage door to pull in because it was cold one afternoon.
Yeah.
She was like, "What the hell is all this?"
Yes.
I love that. That's such a great comment.
I can't remember if that was my last one or I think it is.
Yeah. Okay. Now, my first one, I don't know if you already posted this one in a previous episode, but I happened to see it earlier this week, which I don't know why it showed up, but I grabbed it anyway. So it may be a repeat. I'll warn you on that.
Okay. Yeah, we did that one before.
Anywhere around I can help. Yeah. Yeah,
it's Facebook. We're up all night long. Yes, there are people here.
I can help. Sure. What do you need? Marital advice? I'm good with that.
Did you look at the comments? I remember seeing this one, and the guy never came back and asked and told what he needed help with.
No, there was no. People were like, "What can I help you with?" Actually, I will give people credit. Like there was a lot of people like, "What's going on? Can you post more info? We'll help you out."
Yeah.
And then he never came back with.
I feel like that happens all the time. Like Bull Pride and Soupy, people post obviously very obscure, very not a lot of details, and they go in and say, "Hey, you need give us this, your computer specs, what are you doing? What launch monitor is the big thing?
And they don't follow back up.
And they don't follow back up. People ask questions and then they just disappear. It's like bull pride. Like how many like things do you respond to that people just don't even like go any further with? I mean, that's gotta be.
Can I tell you how excited I am to play golf with that guy for a few days?
He's a dick. No, I'm just kidding. He's the nicest guy in the world. Actually, he was the best guy in Facebook ever. Like last week, he was getting high praises.
That is not the response I was expecting you to say, by the way.
I know. That's why I said it.
It was pretty damn good. But I cannot wait for him to come out and play some golf with us. And I got some great courses. I can't wait for June.
I just want to buy him a beer or a bourbon or whatever.
Matter of fact, I will tell you, we had the board meeting we have a guys golf trip every week. I know I'm going to yours, but this is a 4-man. We do a little 4-man small thing we do every year. And we call the board. So we had the board meeting to discuss. And I was like, nope, that week's out. Sorry, already booked.
All right, so you have another one. This is going to build out.
I have a couple more. It's going to go. Yeah, I think I have 2 more.
All right, move this over. Here we go. I need to know how to use the scorecard of GSPro. Oh, so the guy doesn't know the rules of golf.
It was more torn like you're using sim golf and using a freaking pad of paper to score your scores because you couldn't click on their name to go to the next in rotation.
Yeah, a putting player in starting it will not follow the rotation. So he's expecting like you put 4 people, and he's expecting them to go like in that order.
In that rotation, correct? In that order before you put them in. And because it didn't work what he wanted, he went to a legal pad. He pulled up an 8.5 by 11 legal pad and started putting a pen to paper.
Oh god, oh jeez.
4 par 5.
Yeah. Now I do when I have our sim league, I do put people's scores in, but we have a whole like league handicap system, but yeah.
So that's not why I put this post in.
Okay. All right.
I put this post in for absolutely complete disappointment.
Oh no,
Adam. Too many words.
Way
too many words, man. That's 6. You could have done it in 1. Okay, come on. You don't need 6 words to be like, no.
Please help. Should have just said no.
No. I saw Adam reply and I was like, nope, it's going in. It's automatically going in. Should have been nope.
Nope. Nope.
Nope. 1 word. Nope. All right, last one. I want you to figure this one out for me. You have to move us out of the way.
Yeah, let me put this down here. Has anyone had trouble connecting GSPro through E6 Connect since Samsung upgraded to One UI version 6? I actually do know what he's talking about.
Do you? I couldn't. Help me explain this one. How does that work?
So I'm assuming he has. I think which one is it? It's R10 or is it the Garmin? I think that uses E6 Connect is the software that Garmin. I think or another launch monitor. I think it's Garmin. Pretty sure it uses to connect to. It's like their interface, and that you actually can run it on Android. And I have a friend of mine who has a Garmin, and I think it's E6 Connect, and I think GSPro uses that connector to patch all that together because it's an unsupported interface.
So you can use an E6 connector running on Android to run GSPro to connect your R10.
I don't have one of those. From my understanding, though, is I think it uses E6. It's not the E6 software. It is actually like this. So what happens when you have an R10? That R10, I think, connects Bluetooth to either your iPhone or your Android device, and it uses this thing called E6 Connect. And I think that E6 Connect actually has some type of maybe open interface or whatever that would normally go out to E6. And I think whoever wrote the interface for GSPro just uses that connector that already exists, I think.
All I can say is if you're explaining, you're losing.
Yes. Now, the One UI, I do know because I have an Android phone. I
have an Android phone too as well here, and I have
One UI is the new like operating.
Is the Android? Yeah. Oh yeah, I completely get the One UI on an Android phone. I couldn't make heads or tails of the combination of R10, E6 Connect, Samsung One UI, and GSPro.
Yeah,
If
it
you're
could be.
going
I
through
could be
7
talking out of my ass here because that's just what I think
Holy
it is.
shit, that's a lot of steps to get it to work.
Yeah, and that's why I think the official integrations are just so much better. They're so much simpler, right? I mean,
so much simpler.
like Unicore is just fire up View, fire up GSPro, and they just talk, right?
Yep.
This it's between like all these low end monitor like SkyTrack, R10. Man, what a freaking! It's not horrible, but it is not a great user experience.
I'll give Mevo Plus thumbs up because they've got native
Yes.
integration, right?
Yes.
So thank you for doing that, right?
Yeah.
100%. But like I fired up my Unicore launcher today, updated the launcher, which updated View, and then I fired up GSPro, playing, done.
I'm
Simple.
really surprised that SkyTrack hasn't jumped on board, honestly, because they're just no good official. Like E6 and TGC for SkyTrack. I mean, ugh.
Yeah.
Now,
Agreed.
the only thing that they've got going for them is they're probably, to me, SkyTrack is probably like one of the lower end, quote unquote, better lower end systems. And I think people tend to blindly buy it. And then after the fact, find out about GSPro and then figure out how to use it.
But I think SkyTrack is missing the mark personally because there is a market for a low-end, low-cost launch monitor. Okay, even with I'll argue, and again, I may be speaking out of my ass here because I know, like, I don't think the Garmin R10 has native integration as well either, right? Mm-mm. So there is a
Mevo is the lowest end. Is the lowest
Mevo is lowest end. There is a market for a Garmin R10 and a SkyTrack, not Plus, a SkyTrack lower end and low end launch monitor. There's a market for that with native integration.
Well, there's a market for a low end that supports like decent putting because putting on R10, putting on Mevo is horrible.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that's where SkyTrack I think is a better choice than those because you can. It's not great, but you can putt.
Right, but let's assume you bought the R10 knowing it doesn't support putting. But having native support for GSPro would make. I think it would drive R10s.
I'm not sure if people really find out about GSPro until after they buy a launch monitor. To me, when you're looking at launch monitors, you go out and you look at the hardware. Here's my options. I got Garmin. Like if I'm looking at low end, you're going to find out pretty quickly. Yeah, I've got SkyTrack, I've got Garmin, and I've got Mevo. Right?
Mevo, yeah.
And I don't think people really understand or do enough research at the time. I think they're so infatuated with the hardware and its cost that they don't realize how important the software is until after they have it. They play a little bit. They go onto these forums and they complain about, oh, I'm playing this course. It's just, is anything else? GSPro. And then they find out about GSPro. And then they go.
I'm thinking through my own. I was a Mevo Plus owner. That was my first launch monitor. I was between a SkyTrack, which my buddy had, and a Mevo.
Yeah, I had a SkyTrack.
Yep. I went with a Mevo for the radar base. I thought that, and I could use that outside. I thought the range, it would look really good as a radar based monitor. And indoor, I knew it would be a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was sold that I got X amount of courses and X amount of months or whatever free with E6. It was like GSPro wasn't in the mix at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I had a software hardware combo that worked really well together. And then I played E6 for a year, and when my renewal license came up for the $1,000 or $800, whatever it cost, then I was like, is this the best software out there for $800? Yeah. Right. So
you are like the typical person. You didn't know about GSPro until you got your launch monitor. It did not. GSPro did not. But GSPro did not influence your purchase at all.
GSPro did this down in the renewal. Let's call it that way.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, I want to use GSPro. It's better software than I want to use the E6 software. I don't want to pay $800 for E6. I want to pay $250 for GSPro because it's better software. Oh, my launch monitor at the time didn't work with GSPro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would think having native integration for a SkyTrack, even later down the road, someone would say, hey, now I've used it for a while. Now I'm learning about the software. Man, I really want a GSPro. Yeah, I got native integration for it. It works great,
Yeah, no, I agree. But I don't think a GSPro, people do not, GSPro, whether it works natively or not with those launch monitors, does not influence people buying one over the other. I don't think. I think
Initially not.
because anyone buying those launch monitors is a first-time buyer.
Yep, for sure.
You know, and I think it's the people who get those and then
Yep.
want a better experience that then upgrade to things like Unicore, iMini, GC, BLP that have the experience with GSPro and those lower ones that want an official integration. I think that drives hardware
I think you're right.
for those. So to me, and I see posts about this all the time, what launch monitors in this range support GSPro now, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I just think the lower launch monitors are losing out by not supporting GSPro natively out of the box, minus Mevo, because as GSPro grows and gets more popular, it will become more important in their decision, right? Like, hey, I want to run GSPro.
I
so
think
what
they're
launch monitor
losing
supports
out
that?
by not selling it. Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
SkyTrack is really, and maybe this is and I don't know if any SkyTrack and GSPro talks have been going on, but SkyTrack to me is very tight about what software and how they sell it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you realized, did you have TGC ever? Like,
I did not used to.
You
not
cannot
in Stim. I had TGC on the Xbox.
Okay, if you own TGC, you cannot. If you own a license to TGC, you cannot bring it to your SkyTrack. You can take it away from SkyTrack, but you cannot take it into SkyTrack. You can only buy it through SkyTrack to use on your SkyTrack. And they're
interesting.
And I'm wondering if that's part of the problem. I'm just guessing here. I do not know that if GSPro and SkyTrack had got together and SkyTrack said, okay, however, we want to resell GSPro software, but anyone that buys GSPro through us can only use it on a SkyTrack. You can't transfer that licenses in or out of SkyTrack. And GSPro might be like, that's not really how we like to operate. Yeah. They have the open API. They want to be able to switch people around. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yep. Listen, I think the flexibility that GSPro is offering, especially with the online licensing swap, which is, hey, I got a new launch monitor, I'm just gonna swap my license over to it.
Oh, yeah. Like it's so flexible. It's extremely
I was
flexible.
So annoyed with my Mevo when I reached out and I moved from a Mevo to a BLP, and I reached out to E6 and said, hey, I have X amount of months left. They were like, oh no. They
won't even give me credit. Like
not even credit that I could use to buy a new license for the BLP. No, nothing.
I said buy.
Nothing. Yep, I said buy. That's what made me go, I'm all in on GSPro. Let's go. You know what I mean? So then I looked at what launch monitors. Well, Foresight had really good.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I had GSPro at the time, and I wasn't completely sold on it. I was like, this is okay. I didn't have this was when it was beta. It was like 30. Remember? Were you involved when it was like $35? Do you remember that?
Yes. No, not GSPro. No.
So GSPro, before it became like an official release, you could pay $35 and you got access to the beta until it went official. Like it was seriously $35. So I was part of that group. And then I remember the official launch, I think it was in October of 2020, I believe. And then it was official and they came back and said, finally, here's our pricing. It's $250 a year. And I did that, and then that was kind of about the time my E6 license is up, and I told E6 to go pound sand. Then I haven't looked back since.
I told them to pound sand nicely, but to the woman on the phone that I spoke to, when she would not give me 3 months worth of credit on my E6 license from Mevo to BLP. I'm like, I want to buy another E6 license, but I don't want to lose 3 months of what I currently own. I just upgraded my launch monitor, and they were not having any of it.
I was in the
same
boat.
I'm not having any of you. Sorry, and I left.
And mine was through email, and I basically wrote to him. I said, "You are losing a customer, and I will never be back." I told him that. I said, "This is the most ridiculous license. You're not even going to give me credit." No.
Yep.
Okay. I said, "I'm done with you. I'm never coming back. Bye."
And I looked at my favorite course I played, and it was Castle Pines and Sanctuary, and I made them both on GSPro.
There you go. Right.
All good.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have any more? Was that it for your posts, right? That was it. Okay.
I think that was it. Yeah.
All right. No, I don't have anything else. Let's close this sucker down.
We are TBD on next week, given it will be the Friday or Saturday before Christmas. So,
yeah.
Are you guys really going to watch us on Christmas morning, being it's a Monday? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
We may surprise you. Can I give them can I give, no, never mind. We're good. So, never mind. I'm not going to give you a sneak peek of what's to come.
Oh, I'm not
We'll
even sure
leave
if I
that
know what's to come.
We'll leave that as a teaser that there's a sneak peek of what's to come.
Oh, maybe this is a teaser for me too. Ooh.
No. You and I have already had a discussion about this. I just didn't tee it up before in
okay.
pre-show.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Good night.
Have a great night, everybody. Congrats, everybody, on the MPOWs. Nicely done.
Well done. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.